Well, that brings us to our final individual race of the night. As the athletes will come together for one final time and one final 5,000-meter race. Anticipate a few scratches in a field that was listed as 22 deep. Does not look like maybe we have the full 22, but we'll hopefully get some confirmed scratches as they begin this race. Muhammad Ahmed there on the inside, hip number 1, graduate student at the at Washington State. He was second of the Big West at 10,000 meters for UC Davis as Washington State now pulls together that distance program. And back to do some more pacing, getting in a couple of rabbit races of work. Tyrone Gorsey of the University of Washington. He's going to click them through the first 1,600 meters in 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Gavin Glaza, who's running unattached, right behind him in second, followed by Michael Mairano of Utah State. But they're already single file line here, Dan, as we get into the early laps.
Good to see. And what's fun about this is, that there's always something at stake, and personal best, school records, NCAA qualifying, conference championship qualifying. And I can't think of a better place to run fast than low altitude on an oversized track. And I'm just kind of surprised that more people don't do it. I know there is a conversion occasionally from an oversized track. But we talk about why people come here to the Dempsey to run these distance races. And just like you said, Paul, it's the combination of things. Great competition, good facility. And Seattle's a pretty easy place to get to and not a bad place to hang out for the weekend.
It's like you're working for the Conventions and Visitors Bureau tonight. Y'all come out to Seattle, you hear? Beautiful part of the country, particularly in those summer and fall months. It'll be one of the host cities for the World Cup this year. Team USA is going to play a match, potentially 2, depending on how they do. So a lot of anticipation. Big summer of sport if you're a soccer fan. In fact, you could just hang out on the West Coast and go to Vancouver, Seattle, and down to L.A. and have a grand old time.
Well, we had a lot of fans in the Phoenix area that were disappointed that we didn't get a game here.
It would be a match, Dan. That's why you didn't get it. You didn't know the verbiage.
Right. That's right. Or matches.
Matches. 13 laps to run. Gorsey got him in single file and trying to get himself around the track a couple of more times before his day is done. Again, 4:30, the request through 1,600 meters. But you're right, Dan. That is one of the more interesting facets to, us being able to rely on even splits on a 200 or 400 meter track. The places here where those splits are like 11 different spots on the track during the night.
And you got to appreciate them putting up the little banners there, letting athletes know how far into the race that they are. But it's tough for us to, kind of see when they cross those, when they cross that 800 meter mark, when they cross that 3,600 meter mark. You need a guy in stadium, on the ground, that's feeding us those splits from time to time. If there's anybody out there who does that sort of thing.
Still Glaza behind Gorzi. And then Mariano, Bryce Hill of Utah State is there. And 11 laps to run now for this 5,000-meter distance. Gorzi staying on the track for the moment as he carries them to 10 laps to go, and now he peels off the track. So race now in the hands of Gavin Glaza. And Utah State, you can just see the barrage of runners they have with their name on the back of their kit. And all these athletes getting instructions from their coaches on the backstretch. Seen a couple of athletes fall off the back, but for the most part, a large contingent still in the mix here. And we'll watch how this unfolds over the next half of the race. Glaza, Mariano. See LJ Floyd of Utah State moving up on the outside. He's now in a fifth, maybe sixth position. And we're now single digits on the lap counter. 9 laps to run. Now Floyd moves up another spot into 4th. Now we're starting to see a little bit of movement here. Most of it involving Utah State. They have the advantage of such a large contingent in this field. As Garrett Woodhouse moves into the lead. For the first time, Muhammad Ahmed shows himself for the Washington State Cougars. He slips into 4th position. Glaza beginning to lose a little bit of traction with the leaders. You see 6 of them in picture. Glaza there makes it 7. And the Utah State guys here having a little conversation at the front of the pack. So it's Utah State against Muhammad Ahmed here at the 5,000 meters at the Dempsey. As we said, Glaza had lost a little traction. He's still there and kind of fighting his way back into it just a little bit. He got by Mariano. And now right behind Bryce Hill of Utah State. Closing into the last 5 minutes or so of this race. 5.5 maybe on the clock. And now LJ Floyd starting to stretch this one a little bit. Ahmed's going to try to challenge and gets into 2nd. Doesn't want to let that gap get too far away. 6 laps to go as we race at 5,000 meters. hard to fathom even looking at the descending order list in the NCAAs right now, and you got to go. I mean, in fact, the top 50, which comes up as the default listing, every single one of them from the same meet, BU back in December. So LJ Floyd has gotten himself a little bit of breathing room in that last lap, and he now takes the lead with 5 laps to go. And Muhammad Ahmed now's got to make a decision. Does he try to take a crack at bringing himself back in a position to attack the leader? Or does he head to the stairs and the exit?
Well, on a 300-meter track, you say 5 laps. It's still a mile to go, so I think there's still plenty of time. Here you see Wayne Phipps talking to his runner and running alongside of him at the same time, so got to be careful about that. But, yeah, still plenty of time, but if he lets another lap go by without making a little bit of a move, then I think he pretty much knows he's relinquished.
Floyd and Ahmed came in with the top 2 seeded times for this 5,000-meter race, and Floyd is the one who's enjoying the lead right now. Now Ahmed comes into view, but it's a half, or maybe a little more than half of that straightaway on the backstretch. He will come around to see 3 laps remaining. I'm not sure Ahmed is out of trouble yet in getting swallowed up by that group behind him. We'll keep an eye on that as they'll come off the top of the turn. And LJ Floyd now with 3 laps to go, a little less than a K left in the race. Sure, these guys always appreciate their teammates showing them the direction they need to be running. Floyd comes along. Matthew Resnick of Western Oregon gave him somebody to chase there for a moment. And now Floyd coming around the circle once again. Ahmed still with a little bit of a lead on Joshua McKee. Also see his teammate Bryce Hill in there. Laza has managed to stay up near the front after leading for some of the way. 2 laps to go for our leader, LJ Floyd, now. And it looks like Floyd turning the legs a little bit faster now, starting to feel like he's got this one in the bank, and now it's just a question of how fast he can get himself to the line. Lap and a half to go. Got another guy to chase in front of him. That's always helpful in the final stretches of a race, as he'll come into the main straightaway. Catches Carson Day of Weber State. 1 lap to go at 5,000 meters.
Well, he's on his way to a big-time personal best there, only a second race of the season. He ran the 3K on January 15th, 8:14. Here he goes in the 5K. But that 13:59 from last year is his 5K PB. He's going to be well under that.
Pick him up on the far turn, as I believe that's his teammate that steps out of the way and allows him the honor of going into the final stretch. He's going to celebrate sporting the Utah State colors, and a victory for LJ Floyd, 13:47.78.
Well, a well-deserved celebration there at the finish line. The young man's from Camas, Washington, so he's definitely familiar with the Pacific Northwest. Sure he had some fans and friends in the building here, but a nice run. Tough to do it by yourself up front there. His teammates took him as far as they could go, and then he felt good those last 5 or 6 laps on his own. Strong running.
See the final results. Nearly a 20-second victory for L.J. Floyd. Joshua McKee, his teammate, second. Jacob Peterson of Weber State, third. John Simmons of Utah State and Tyler Spencer of Weber State. So it was all Utah State, Weber State in the top 5 in this last individual race of the night. As we get set for a look at that final lap for our winner.
Well, you just have to go somewhere in your head. You can't feel the pain, the burning of your lungs, your body beginning to fail you. But there's just something about being out front, something about crossing that finish line first. All that pain disappears, and then you look up and you see a big-time personal best. That's when distance running, in my opinion, gets enjoyable right there. You've transcended